Hello, Sideliners, and welcome back to another episode of Sideline Tea. We're your hosts, Brittany, Jennifer, and Mary, here to spill the tea with one of our very own Mount Rushmore queens, Mina Kimes. NFL analysis, senior writer for ESPN, and crossword aficionado, you can find Mina basically everywhere. Whether it's ESPN's NFL Live, Around the Horn, Highly Questionable, or her own show, The Mina Kimes Show featuring Lenny. So grab your favorite beverage, sit back, relax, and let's spill some tea. Mina, thank you so much for joining us. This means so much to us. We are still kind of like pinching ourselves and in shock that you've taken the time out of your busy schedule to sit down with us. We really appreciate it. How are you doing?
I'm good. Like I said before we started taping, I'm excited to promote the positive side of Dolphins Twitter and Dolphins fan. And I can already tell you guys are really passionate about the team, listen, whatever you say about Dolphins Twitter, y'all are a passionate fan base, and that I do appreciate. So I'm excited to talk about Dolphins football a little bit.
And we know that training camp is happening. Training camp started today. The boys are back in the building. Everyone's fired up and excited about it. And that gets us into, Jordan Love, obviously, as we've seen, has been holding out and has mentioned that he's not doing anything until he secures his bag. And everyone assumed that Tua was going to follow suit. But as Tyreek said in his presser today, he showed up and is in good spirits, despite what everybody believed. So, if you're the GM, knowing all the talk about Tua, what are you doing with him? What are you offering him? GM Mina, what are you gonna do?
It's tough because I think with these contracts, the highest paid quarterback is just the last quarterback to get paid. So when like Trevor Lawrence becomes the highest paid quarterback, it doesn't mean that the Jaguars think he's better than Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen even. It's just chronological. And I think that's probably what's going to happen with Jordan Love, with Tua, with Dak, all of whom I think are certainly amongst the better quarterbacks in the league. I think with Tua, there's a lot of totally fair criticism about some of the play later in the year, play under pressure. But I also think, and this, to actually answer your question, you have to look at him in the context of the offense. You have to look at him in the context of the head coach, who you're hoping and believe. And if I'm the GM, this is part of that decision for me. Mike McDaniel is going to be head coach of this team for a very long time. And I think that pairing of coach and quarterback has worked so well and will continue to work really well, that it really justifies giving Tua that big contract that's comparable to the ones I mentioned, because you have that solidity there, that stability rather. Things will change. Tyreek Hill is going to retire. You're going to get, the offensive line is going to change, hopefully for the better, frankly. But if the coach is in place, that makes me believe in the quarterback in a way that, frankly, I might not believe in him if he was on a different football team.
Speaking of offensive line, you just threw that in there. I just want to let you know, as a fan base, we have been screaming for this offensive line to get fixed. We know that you have said a lot of things about the offensive line, and I think as a fan base, at least the three of us, to everyone I've seen, we agree with what you're saying. So when it comes to our offensive line, what do you believe our issues are and how do we fix them?
I don't think it's one of the better offensive lines in the NFL. I think that's been the case for several years. I think a lot of the problems have been papered over by the scheme and the quarterback who gets rid of the ball so quickly, and then the fact that you have skill players who get open so quickly helps. And I think that's a problem that tends to get exposed at the end of the season. When we talk about some of the Dolphins' struggles in cold weather or whatever in January, so much of that gets laid at the quarterback's feet. But I really think a huge part of that is this is not a team that can win on the strength of blocking. They can't hold up in pass protection for a very long time. And I think that hasn't been I don't think that's, it's such a flaw that it stands in the way of a playoff run. It certainly hasn't stopped the offense from being unbelievably explosive, particularly early in the season. but it is very clearly to me the weak link of this team.
Yeah.
You know, I know you paid a fair amount of money for a new center this year. Robert Hunt got priced out, which I made sense moving on from him. But I still worry about this offensive line, particularly from a depth perspective as well, because as you guys know all too well, if Teron Armstead misses any period of time, things can get pretty dicey pretty quickly.
We are kind of very worried right now about right guard, left guard. We have some battles going on. We're not really big fans of that position of who we have our depth wise. Anybody in the free agency market that you would be looking at for us?
Oh man, at guard, it's tough because that position exploded. I mean, we talked about Robert Hunt. I think most people, saw that contract. They're like, "Whoa, $100 million!" But it really was kind of like a supply demand issue, as well as a team in Carolina that was willing to overpay because of sort of the status of that franchise. I know about some free agent tackles. I haven't seen any guard names that are available. An interesting one is Connor Williams, who you guys know, who tore his ACL, who's out there. I saw he visited with Seattle. I think he's a decent player. Obviously, coming off of he's going to be injured, so I don't know about his availability. But there's not that many options out there this time of year. That's for sure.
So do you agree with what the Dolphins are doing? How they kind of like take those bigger name people and try to, practice them and work them hard and build them into the offensive line that you want them to be? Or should we be paying the big bucks for the offensive line? Do you agree with what their strategy is?
I have less of an issue with not paying, and I guess I was surprised in the draft that they didn't attack it more aggressively. I do like Chop Robinson.
Yeah, we all were.
Pass rush, right, is in need, especially with the injuries there, and then Shaq Barrett retiring. That, by the way, there's some free agents out there, but it just feels like they've continuously underinvested. Maybe not continuously, because Armstead was a big signing, obviously, but I just feel like that there was an opportunity there to add depth and they didn't take it.
Right.
No, you're right. Continuously. You are correct. And I had a little mini heart attack during the draft, like considering what a good draft it was for the offensive line. And I mean, they're okay, at least right now. I mean, depending on how well Teron holds up and how Patrick Paul develops, but like tackle seems to be okay. Austin Jackson, after
he was good.
4 years,
actually, yeah,
he was really good. You just don't expect a pick that high to take 4 years to develop, but that's who cares. We're happy about it, and he was really good. But it's the interior of it that is just a total question mark, and it just is really frustrating the way it seems like they just don't really value it and have the philosophy of, well, as long as we meet this baseline of okayness for the offensive line, that we can manage. And it's frustrating, especially when, the health of your quarterback kind of defines the way your team goes for the rest of the season.
Interior is so important when you have a quarterback who's a little bit on the smaller side and who does have a quick release. If teams are going to get to him, it's usually going to be up the middle. So, it is. Yeah, it is a concern, but I still think the offense can go. So,
and he's lost some weight, so maybe he'll be using his legs more a little bit this season. I
think it's big.
Tua's got a little skinny Tua. I mean, but everybody always has something to say. He's either too big, too small.
Yeah,
it's always something. It seems with our quarterback that it's never enough.
I think the mobility, I think is interesting. I had I think it was Stephen Ruiz on my podcast. We were talking about the quarterbacks, and he brought it up as potentially being significant because, Tua was a little bit more mobile earlier in his career, certainly in college. And I think that's kind of what's been missing in some ways from this offense is that the ability to extend and create a little bit. And if he could do that, that could be pretty meaningful, especially given how defenses play Miami, where because they have to count for so much downfield, there is often space underneath.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Something that we like to do on our show is we like to keep it fun, entertaining. We do a lot of games. So we prepared some rapid questions for you.
Yes.
Just do some rapid questions.
Let's do it.
First question, what is your sleeper team this year?
I think that the Arizona Cardinals are going to be feisty.
Well,
I don't know if they're going to
Okay.
be a playoff team, but I'm telling you, that offense is going to be very annoying. It was a very, very dominant run game last year, and I think that they could be better this season and better in a way that a lot of defenses in the NFL are particularly equipped to stop.
Do you think is overhyped already going into the season? That's not going to really show us much as people think they will.
Overhyped. I am a little bit skeptical of the Bengals. I just think that defense has a lot of issues, and very difficult division. So,
yeah.
that is gonna engender you to a lot of Dolphins Twitter, actually. So great answer. Great answer. Mina, what is going to happen on tomorrow night on the season finale of Presumed Innocent?
oh my God,
What's
this
your
is
guess?
all we talk about in my house.
Isn't
Okay,
it
I
awesome?
am unspoiled. This is just pure speculation, not
no,
coming.
tell
I
me.
don't know what happened in the original series. Okay, the
There
wife.
was one?
This is all based. It was a book, and there was a movie, not a series, a movie. So, but
Okay.
I've heard that this new series might diverge from that. So I don't even know.
Okay.
The wife clearly was involved. I don't know if she either killed her or if she's covering up for the son. But that woman, you don't stay with a guy like that unless you did something. Because the whole
Yeah.
series, for people who have watched it, every episode, Jay Gyllenhaal just gets worse and worse. You're
It's
like, why are you
so
with him? Well, she's with him
It's so bad.
because she's guilty. So that's my theory.
Okay, I love that. Holy crap, I didn't even realize this. But back in the day, there was a movie with
Yeah.
like Harrison Ford,
Harrison Ford?
remember?
Yeah.
Remember?
I've never seen it.
Shit. Shoot. I have.
Oh.
I don't
Yeah.
remember. That was like 25 years ago. But thank you. I honestly started watching it because of your tweets.
Oh my God, it's so good, right? It's like my
it is
favorite
so-
show right now. I love it.
It is so good. I recommend it. I know that the Swifties will have a heart attack about it because it's got Jake Gyllenhaal in it, but it's worth it. And he's horrible.
Yeah.
So you can enjoy
He really
him
is horrible.
not having a great time.
Mina, what is your guilty pleasure snack? Late at night, watching Presumed Innocent.
Yeah. I've been eating. We have this thing in our house now. They're like called Clio bars. Have you guys ever had that? They're like these Greek
Clio
yogurt
bars.
ice creamy bars. I've been like just
I like
housing.
Yasso.
Are they frozen?
Kind of like that. Yeah, they're frozen. Yeah, they're like covered in
Okay.
chocolate. Yeah, I've been like just housing.
Okay, I like that.
Oh.
Get in my belly!
I've
My
had
new
the
snack
Yasso ones.
is
Yasso's
whatever
good.
my
Mhm.
kid is eating because my kid eats food now. He's 9 months, 10 months, and
Wait.
I'm now doing the thing where you just eat what he eats constantly. So I'm just eating like baby
Yeah.
snacks or
Shake-
whatever. Yeah,
And then give it a couple years and then they're going to be eating your food. And yeah.
I'm just glad he
Oh,
eats.
there's like
Yeah.
a great period where it's just chicken nuggets and tater tots, and it's amazing. It's
I
great.
like that. Oh my God.
Also, is he going to be an O lineman? I know we saw some of the pictures where he looked like
I was gonna
should
say
we be-
Dolphins.
should we
Chris
be waiting?
Greer should.
That's what I'm
get on-
saying.
Yeah, he is. He's kind of built like Alec Ingold. That's who I would compare him to.
Aw.
Really?
Mm.
Very sneaky, underrated player. Yeah,
Aw.
Alec Ingold. That's who I would compare him
Aw.
to.
Really?
Mm.
Very sneaky, underrated player. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
We
and
love
awesome,
Ingold. Yeah.
good player.
awesome guy.
Good acquisition from the
Uh,
Raiders.
We're not talking about the Raiders because
Moving on to the AFC. What's your best team? And I know the Chiefs is the easy way out.
Not
Yeah,
name
yeah,
the
yeah,
Chiefs.
yeah.
Not name the Chiefs.
that was part of
Not name the
that was
Chiefs.
part of the question.
I'll go with the Ravens. I think that's a pretty consensus
Yeah.
answer. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good
Number-
one.
The
We got
third?
embarrassed by them last year. Oof.
A
Buffalo.
lot of teams did. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. That was hard to watch though. That was awful.
that's
That was
tough.
a fact.
Yeah.
Buffalo, do you think we ever overcome our demons and either split or sweep?
I think you definitely split. The question is always kind of end of the year. I don't have like your guys' schedule. I don't know. When are you playing Buffalo?
We play them
Week
second week,
2.
Thursday Night Football. They escaped the Hard Rock Sun, so
Yeah. But that's at home. So then we play.
And we go to them
we play them
later
November
in the year.
4th. No, but it's not. It shouldn't be
It's
that
not
cold in
bad.
Buffalo. It's November
It's not
4th.
bad.
November 4th is not that bad. I actually think that's
No.
pretty favorable. So
That's a good break.
It was a good compromise. They get us at night in Miami. We get them not so
Right.
late into the winter.
Yeah, the
I
thing
think
is,
they did that
on purpose. I think the
deliberately.
Dolphins defense
Yeah.
is going to be much better in the second half of the season versus the first. So hopefully,
Yeah, and hopefully we get JP, Jalen Phillips, and Bradley Chubb. Although it's predicted that Jalen Phillips is going to be ready. He's going to be ready to go soon, but we'll see at what percentage.
Don't rush it.
Yeah. What do you think about
yeah.
Jordan? Should we be pumped about Jordan Brooks?
Yeah, he's a good player. I actually was really disappointed that Seattle let him walk. I think he has the potential to be one of the better cover linebackers in the NFL. That I thought. I have a lot of concerns about the Dolphins defense because of the pass rush and the lack of talent there. But I think a lot of the veteran signings that they made were actually quite astute. Kendall Fuller, Jordan Brooks, Campbell, like they're just good players. And Brooks, I think, is a really, really solid pickup, especially at that price.
And they got Emmanuel Ogbah today. They signed him.
Really?
Even though,
a little homecoming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Needed.
$5 million.
Needed and smart.
Our second game that we wanted to do with you is Dolphins Olympics. So you're going to have an event and you can just pick any player you want from the team to win us the gold. Your event is rhythmic gymnastics.
Oh my goodness. Rhythmic gymnastics.
Yes.
Swim with the wand.
The ribbons and stuff.
Oh yeah,
I feel like Waddle has like pretty good celebrations. I feel like he's got rhythm. I've seen him moving.
Yeah.
And he's so athletic, but he's also so strong. I wouldn't be surprised if he could do a lot of those moves. So I'll go with Waddle.
Jalen Waddle it is. He's winning us the gold, baby.
He's got great facials too. He's always happy. He's always got a smile on his face.
You know what? They judge you on that too. That's really smart.
On your facials?
Yeah. Absolutely. They judge you on everything.
Vibes.
That's a great answer. Yeah, vibes. Total vibes.
Although Jalen Ramsey.
Wait,
vibes.
that's who I said. Hello.
That's who we all talked about last night.
He's a gentleman. One of my favorite players I've ever profiled years ago.
Oh.
Back when he was in Jacksonville.
Wow.
When he was a baby.
Yeah. This is back when he was just shit talking the entire league and calling everyone.
He's actually the reason that I even got into football. I'm a big Florida State girl, and
cool.
I fell in love with him at FSU, and he would talk and do interviews, and I'd be like, I don't know what he's talking about. So I would go and research, and I love him so much.
So good at FSU, man.
Oh my gosh. He was a freshman when I was a sophomore at FSU when we won the national championship. Oh my gosh. With Jameis, man, I love
Jameis, Dalvin Cook, Derwin James.
No, I love Jameis. I'm not saying anything
stacked team.
It was.
I was lamenting my college football experience at Hamilton College. Even I went to a game at Yale this year though.
Wow.
I went to the Yale Bowl. Yeah, I saw that tackle and was like drooling over him.
Drafted. Your whole coaching staff is full of and your front office. There's tons of Yale guys.
I was kind of going to go there. Like, do you have any Yale Mike McDaniel stories? Did you ever see him in the calf? Did you know him?
No, I met him for the first time. I had met him before, but I think I talked to him for the first time at the Combine this year. So he was 04, right? He was so we were in college at the same time, but never interacted. He was probably part of a frat, I think, that that was not really my scene. I know people look at him and they're like, frat, what? But it was like the football frat, which was not my one memory of that football frat is my freshman year trying to go party and getting kicked out by Barbara Bush, which is the most Yale story.
No way.
Yeah, because her boyfriend was like in this. He's probably friends with Myron. Might be Daniel, pardon me, in this frat. But Mike is very good friends with my friend's fiance, the comedian Dan Soder. So, and they speak
that he talks about all the time.
They have so many great stories about growing up together and stuff. And he was super nice. It was really great to meet him and a bunch of other Yale guys at the Combine.
That's pretty cool. Patrick Graham, hopefully taking care of my boy in Vegas.
Yeah, potentially.
Shout out to big football program.
Yeah, who knew?
You knew.
We're really the FSU of the Northeast, people are saying.
Check your pulse.
Well, we know that you have very limited time, so we don't want to keep you any longer than you allotted for us. So Mary,
I think we want to wrap it up just by, this is obviously a space where we're with females right now and women, and sports is a big thing that is dominated by males. And, as a teacher myself, I see the little girls in my classroom that have that spark and that passion for sports, and just females on Dolphins Twitter. I mean, it's on the rise. Women are feeling empowered to talk about sports and not feel afraid. So what would be your message to the women in this space, and maybe just the little girl sitting in third grade that, wants to pursue sports but is intimidated?
We will know that we have attained equality when some Dolphins fans screaming at me on Twitter and it's a woman instead of a man. Then I'll be like, whoa. Like it's like a Tua non.
Was it on my bingo card?
Did you just say Tua and non?
Yeah. No. You guys are really, I think, what you're doing here is exactly what I always tell younger women or any women who want to break into sports, which is a lot of it really starts with just being passionate about a team and like learning everything about the team. And it's obvious you guys are, the Dolphins cold. And I think when you do that, you start having conversations with other people on social or in podcasts, or like we're having right now, sort of based on that fundamental passion for that team. And that can turn into something really cool and fun. I think for women in particular, like it can be daunting, not just because of the lack of representation on TV and whatnot, just getting a little bit better, but also because of obviously how toxic the conversation online can be. And I think it's really important to remember that like this is what the conversation we're having is much more representative of the kind of conversations everybody has every day who talk about sports and who just love it. It doesn't have to be toxic. It can be really fun, right. And we can be, excited and passionate and critical of things and decisions. And it can be had in a totally constructive manner. So I think that's really, really important. But yeah, it's, we definitely need more of you guys, more of y'all. So I love seeing a podcast like this exist. It's just so awesome because, just when I was coming up, there just really wasn't that much out there like this.
Yeah, you really helped pave the way too, Yeah,
appreciate that.
Oh, stop. No, it's true. It is true.
Would you give any advice to your younger self, a young Mina? What would you tell her?
Well, I was like a little late to sports because I was a business journalist for a while. Right. And then I was a sports writer talking about interviewing Jalen. But I think for anyone, I would say this to anyone, not just young women who really want to get into more of the opinionating analyst side of things, just read everything. I love what you said about how you heard Jalen. You're like, I don't know what that is, so I'm going to look it up. Like, I think I always tell this for fans who want to be more educated, like, take the time. If you hear someone talking about, we were in man match coverage, you want to know what that is. There's so many videos on the internet and people who are happy to explain it to you. And I think just like reading everything, taking the time to like learn concepts, to learn which statistics matter, and then just getting reps talking about it. Before I was on TV, I did sports radio for a while. I was on podcasting, and I wouldn't be nearly as comfortable as I am on television if I hadn't done those things for years before then. So it's everything, one thing leads to another, but everything I think that you do in terms of like talking and writing about sports is always helpful for the next thing, and that's important to remember.
So
Did
good.
you have the free food at Bloomberg in the caf?
We did, yeah. It was kind of overrated, honestly. ESPN caf is lit. Though,
Is it?
You.
I'm like 40 minutes from Bristol. I'll head down now.
Oh, nice.
I'm glad that you responded to us, so I didn't have to sit out in the parking lot. I'm sure there's security, but we had considered it.
No, I think it's fun.
Just real quick, Mina, we kind of like when we started our podcast, this is a very new podcast that we've started. We like kind of made goals for ourselves, and we have like our mountain of goats, and you were on there, and Jen was like, she lives by me. I'll just sit in the parking lot and wait for her. So,
that is really funny. Which one of you guys made the joke about Josh or Sauce Gardner?
Me.
Yeah,
me holding.
That's what I'm talking about. Like that's
right?
I think that is I know I was joking about equality being like women being trolls, but I actually think just getting off the same kind of jokes and being critical too is really important. So that made me
I was like, Mina laughed at my joke.
That was very funny. Yeah. Amazing.
Well, Mina, thank you so much for taking the time.
Will you do one other thing? Will you tell Chris Long that Dolphins Twitter does have a soul, and that you saw a glimpse of it today?
I'm actually about to visit him, so I'll tell him that.
Oh,
he had some run-ins with the Tua.
The two of you have, and like you're like two of my like absolute favorites.
I'm not even a Tua hater. I was a Dolphins O-line hater. I want to be clear.
Maybe
we all are.
I
We
know.
all are.
We
Mina.
all are.
We all are. Like
you're one of us.
We're screaming to fix the O-line, and
frustrating.
It's just it's very frustrating.
So tell me you at least saw proof of it.
I will tell him that.
Then we just need to address rapid question about Doppelgate. What is the deal?
Oh.
Are you two related? What's the story? Is there any chance?
I have been asked that so many times.
Really?
Are you related? Oh my gosh.
That's
Are
so
you
good.
related to Mina? So many times.
What is your background?
And that is
I'm French.
French. Oh,
I didn't know that.
interesting.
Yeah, French.
Can you speak French?
We do have similar coloring, so that might be it.
Yeah.
You're really seeing it on this. Your hair looks actually darker than mine, to be honest.
I have pretty dark hair. I also think it's like our profile picture. We're both like leaning the same way. So I think that, and my hair like does have like a little bit of a curl to it in my profile picture. I think
You have much better eyebrows than me, so.
Oh, these are filled in.
That's great.
I haven't figured out how to do that yet.
As much.
I accept it.